Welcome to What We Watch, Doing OK's entertainment podcast. What did we watch today?
Sex Education Season 2.
Spoilers ahead. I'm Dan.
I'm Olga.
And what did you think of Season 2? We were big fans of Season 1.
Absolutely. I was a little nervous. I was really scared that I wouldn't like it as much.
Mhm.
And they did not disappoint overall. I mean, it's just like such a wholesome show for the for the cringiness of certain things, like the awkwardness that is just so palpable and the bad decision making that makes me want to scream. I can get past that, and I just love everyone so much.
Yeah, it's actually, I feel like Netflix does a good job of combating what the idea of a wholesome show is. Redefining, I think is the word I was looking for. Yeah, because I agree with you. There's something wholesome about it, but it's like completely not the normal definition of wholesome, right? It's about sex and teenagers having sex.
And being awful to each other, but somehow
it's just that
getting past
they
that.
all feel like you're little babies that you want to hold and take care of and that you love so much, and that you just want to see them be happy.
But maybe also not be in the same room as them either.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I would say I think this is a really solid season.
Yeah.
They introduced a number of characters that I found enjoyable. There was a lot of more depth to a lot of people.
Yeah.
They had a lot of like overarching things that I really enjoyed. I'm just gonna knock off a couple quick things. Like I really enjoyed that they talked about asexuality. I enjoyed that they had like the anal douching thing. There's just, and obviously we'll get
You enjoyed the anal douching?
who doesn't enjoy the anal douching? I mean, we're obviously going to get way more into the Amy stuff, which I think was like the core big thing of this season.
Yeah.
But they talked about a lot of great things, and I feel like they really are educating some people out there on certain aspects. The one thing I'm surprised they haven't done yet is anything really with trans issues. So that's somewhere for them to go.
I could see them doing that in season 3. Yeah. That is a very like difficult topic to mine. Like, not saying that they wouldn't be able to handle it. They obviously have the ability to handle things with sensitivity. Yeah. It's just one of those things where like you really need to educate your writer's room, I think, on it. Yeah. And I hope that they do address it with teenagers especially. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this season just felt so alive, and I'm sure season 1 felt that way too, but I was brought to tears like nearly a couple times, or like got close a few times, and actually like cried once. So.
Yeah, no, they did a great job. I love so many of these people, and it's even the people that I was like, why am I seeing them? By the end of the season, I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So we're gonna get into each of the characters in more detail.
Like the main characters.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So we're just go through each character in their little arc. The one thing I just want to throw out from the beginning as like a negative that I have is, I don't think that the core Maeve Otis thing was necessarily handled awesomely. And that, I think, is the biggest sort of bummer of the season.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that probably near the end, because we're going to leave Otis and Maeve
for the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to start with.
Yes. So we're going to start with Eric and
Adam
and Raheem.
Yeah. Yeah. That little love triangle, because this show has like 30 of them.
It got a little, I was really scared of the love triangles when it became obvious that there would be at least 3 of them. I was like, oh God.
Yeah. But they handled them pretty well. I think that they continue to do great work with Adam this season. I think he's better than ever.
He just breaks my heart every time. Like, every time I feel a little bit of joy for him, I'm like, oh dear God, this is gonna come crashing down.
What is he gonna do? Like, the whole thing was setting up with like, is the dog gonna run away?
He's so good with dogs. Like, so good.
And I love how he like somewhat accidentally led to the whole big female empowerment moment by setting up all the smashing of things.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was like, oh, look, it's romantic, but it also shows how he can't talk about his emotions. Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, fuck our emotions. The women are just angry. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great stuff with that. I loved, how he and Eric ended at the end of the season.
It was so cute. Yeah.
Eric continues to just be like infectiously lovable. Like,
he's just so joyous.
Mm-hmm.
And even when he's like confronted with something, it's just like a character who is full of vibrancy and life. And I think that he's someone that so many people are going to relate to.
Yeah.
And he's just like the perfect example, I think, of how like you don't need to have an angsty gay character. And
they still had some angst.
Of course. But like they don't have to be like brooding about their identity. Like he has fully embraced his identity in this season. And I mean, there's the question of like suppressing himself in a relationship a little bit with Raheem. But like,
but that's just
a normal relationship.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with the homosexuality of it. Yeah. I think that what's really interesting about Eric is that I think that on paper, he is a tropic character and a like kind of tired trope to me. But I think he's grounded in a way that a lot of characters like him aren't. Like he's not so big. He's not so flamboyant. He's not so joyful. He's the right level that I believe him as a person and not as a character.
Yeah. He just feels like, again, like a teenager.
Yeah.
But it's just something about, I just love watching his scenes too.
Well, and that he has so many different...
them.
I think the fact, something that really worked this season, even more than last season, is how many different pairings there were of people, both friendship and romantic, that just gelled so well. And so it's like, yeah, on the one hand, him and Otis have an amazing friendship, continue to have that great dynamic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he also goes to the DDR thing with Raheem, and that's really cute. And you're like, oh, they're really cute. But then he goes and smashes things with Adam, and you're like, oh my God, they're really cute. Like, he can just pop with everybody.
Yeah. You feel his heartbreak when, like, Adam can't acknowledge him in public even.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a tired love triangle. It just kind of hurt a little.
Well, and the thing I think that made it really work is there wasn't like a clear bad guy.
Yeah.
Like you understood and you kind of, because Adam was from last season, you kind of come in automatically like kind of wanting him with Adam, not with this new guy, right?
Right.
But then you see how much the new guy actually treats him well. But then like... the new guy he's not perfect. He's a human who has some issues that don't jive with Eric. But he's not a bad person, so you feel bad when he's crying at the end.
Of course.
And meanwhile, Adam is like trying and getting better, but he's still, has issues. And I like the fact that Eric confronted him about the bullying and stuff in this season.
Yeah.
So a lot of great things there.
Yeah. And they left it in a nice spot too of like, just because they finally are together doesn't mean their problems are over.
Yeah.
So the next people we're going to be discussing are conveniently placed right here. So Ola and Lily.
Mm-hmm.
What a journey.
What a journey. Yeah. So I guess let's quickly just knock out Ola and Otis's
not meant to be relationship.
Yeah. I struggled with seeing him with Ola because I was just like so much wanted him to be with Maeve, that it like I did. I mean, I guess felt like disconnected from how into it he was for the first part, and then he became such a dick, and that wasn't
then I'm
great.
Immediately on her side in that situation.
Yeah, and I do hope she says I think we got it wrong. Maybe we should be friends. I hope that next season, once the dust is sort of cleared, we get more of that.
I really feel like that is what's gonna take place because he's like, yeah, I agree. Oh, revelation about my father.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I think they have chemistry. It's just not romantic.
They never really jived to me. Like, I was never rooting for them as much as I was rooting for Otis and Maeve.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I feel like in some ways we could have seen that Ola wasn't going to be straight coming because, I mean, she wears a rainbow pin like the entire time.
Yeah.
No, I think again, like you said, it's nice representation. And I think that, like, they opened up the thing of, like, female friendship. So it's okay that these two are going to be in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, because we have other female friendship connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Lily got more to do this season, and...
Oh, that she did.
And that play was one special night.
I want to see more of it, though. I want them to, like, put a video up of the real...
Don't put it past Netflix to do that.
I'm Netflix. You better listen to our weird, esoteric video podcast and do it. My God. I mean, like... good for them.
Lily's
so weird.
Sometimes I forget how much of a comedy this show is, and then it reminds me.
And then Lily appears on the screen, and you're just like, oh, yeah.
All right, next.
Next are two characters that we weren't kind of at first surprised were getting so much screen time, and that's Jackson and Viv.
Yeah, Jackson was interesting to me because they were giving him a lot of time. And I thought he was a three-dimensional bad guy last season, basically, right? Obstacle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because we were rooting for Otis and Maeve.
Yeah, you were rooting for Otis and Maeve.
Yeah.
And he was, the love triangle, third wheel, whatever, that they wanted you to feel slightly bad or, like, create some level of maybe some people will root for him and Maeve.
Yeah.
Like, so continuing him on in such a direct way when he was so disconnected from so many of the other characters.
Yeah. And paired with a new character.
Yeah, that was a interesting choice that I think took a while for us to sort of come around to.
I think you took longer than I did. I was just like so on board with like what they were doing with his character. Of just like his struggle was, to me, as someone who has anxiety and like wants to take it out on myself sometimes, like it felt very relatable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that one of the things that they did that I really appreciate is showing a different kind of self-harm.
Yeah.
And showing a man self-harming, whereas you usually see that as like a female trait on television.
And you see it arguably in the tropic way of like self-harm equals cutting. But the fact that it was from just like in this way, it was a way of him like protecting himself and just distancing himself from his problems. And how it related to his parents' relationship too. Like they got me to care about his moms too. And that's just like
and the fact that they showed it like it being fueled by like anger and violence.
Not wanting to disappoint people.
And having them actually say the word self-harm and treat it with the gravity
that it deserves. Yeah.
Because I handled by other writers, this could just be, oh, he's freaking out and he puts his hand in the thing and that's the one time he does it and whatever.
It doesn't. I'm glad it doesn't happen again. I'm glad Viv is there to stop him. And again, that's another example of like a great friendship that like, and it has its trials and tribulations too, but like they were comedic. It's not all the drama and angst. It's just like they were cute in a non-romantic way.
Well, so this is what I want to talk to you. Do you think it is going to continue to be in a non-romantic way, and do you want it? Which way do you want it to be?
I'd be fine if it turned romantic, honestly. I just hope they don't drop their friendship.
Yeah.
Like their interactions in season 3. Like I'd like to see that continuing. I think it would be really cool if they made it a romantic relationship, considering like she is not a typical love interest. Like she doesn't look like one. Like she is
she calls it out herself.
She does.
Yeah.
And for like someone who in the show is like the cool guy at school, even though he's going to be less cool for quitting sports, like he's still the man about campus. Like, and for them to be a couple, I think would make waves.
Yeah. I really love their friendship. I don't need it to become romantic. But if they go that way, I'll be interested to see how they handle it. Yeah. And I'm not like super against it. It's just, I think I really like how they are now.
They're just like, they're just so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just nice.
Well, why don't we switch gears and talk about some of the adults more, be it Otis's mom, Otis's dad, Jakob, all that stuff. And then, of course, the Groffs.
Oh, God.
Yes.
The Groffs. Yeah. I mean, again, speaking of characters who you don't expect to have so much screen time, like, while we like Jean, I really didn't expect to care about her problems that much.
Yeah.
It's mostly like Otis is making her life difficult, but it's also she's making her own life difficult.
Yeah. I think they did a very good job with bringing her into the school.
Yeah.
And it could have just been played for, oh, she's causing trouble for Otis by being in school. But the fact that it caused her pain to be kicked out and all that stuff, I thought was really well done.
And I'm glad that his, like, I think the whole, like, he's the sex therapist thing could only go on for so long. So it's kind of interesting and refreshing that what's going to be in season 3, now that he's admitted that he's the one who does this, his mom knows.
Yeah.
What are people going to do? Yeah. Like, what is the sex education going to be?
My guess is that it will continue, just won't be charging for it. And that was kind of the resolution. Or it might just not continue. I don't know. But I think it's core enough to the show that you can't completely drop it. The one thing I think is interesting is, so they set up Groff as such an unlikable character, right? And
he's awful.
Because of that, anything he's saying, you're like, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
But, like, in the real world, and in most school systems and things, Jean is not in the right here, necessarily, right? Like,
I don't think that the way she was going about it and, like, identifying her students in her notebook or whatever, like, if this is about really helping the school's curriculum, you don't need to know who said what.
Yeah.
So, like, she's not an educator. I do think some of her practices are also sort of unethical.
Yeah.
But he's more unethical.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I guess it's not that she's in the wrong as much as in the real world, parents would really have an issue with this.
Yeah.
Like, if in the real world, they would agree, hey, why are you putting this school play on? Why is there a sex therapist? Yeah, talking like in depth about this. Like, it's one thing.
Oh, she's not supposed to counsel.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, we want our kids to, like, learn about safe sex and stuff. It's another thing to just give them a blank check to ask anything they want about any fetish or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, should that be the ideal?
Yeah.
Probably, but most parents are gonna want to know, like, who you had to sign up for, or, like, your parents had to know when you were going through sex ed in high school. So.
Yeah, I mean, whether it should be the way the world is or not, it just is funny to, like, the way they set up their world is like, oh, Groff is the only one who really has an issue with them. I mean, they had that little thing with the parents who found when the book came out, the parents like got a little bit angry or whatever, but
it still makes me wonder if that's going to come, there's going to be more repercussions for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad. He's such an asshole to Adam, to his wife,
to Maeve,
to everyone who's below him. Yeah. Like, he's just one of those people who holds on to his power.
Yeah.
Like, and anyone who threatens that is just like, I have to blow it up. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah, I did really enjoy the stuff with the mom and with his wife.
Yeah,
and with Jean and them.
Like,
together.
Their friendship is amazing too.
Yeah, everybody.
Like, oh my god, I'm so happy for them.
And as far as the dad, I mean, I think that the good stuff was just how it affected Otis, and especially that last scene at the book tour thing. And he just gave such a good speech, and then having it underscored by then him signing the book right after telling Otis never to read it. Like, it was just, they did a really good job there, I think.
Yeah.
And it was good. Here's the thing. They gave both Otis and Maeve really good arcs in their own right. I just think that some of the magic of the show was their interactions, and that was really minimized this season.
Yeah.
So before we get into them in, like, further detail, I just want to knock out Ruby as one last person.
Yeah.
I think the swerve there with him having sex with Ruby.
Oh my god. Unexpected.
I don't think anybody called that one.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, like, just drunkenly,
Drunk Otis is a monster.
Yeah, my lord, man. It was he screwed up so badly that I'm like, I should, like, just hate you right now, but I actually feel bad for you because you screwed up so much.
It's a miracle you're friends with Ola still.
Yeah.
I hate high school party episodes of things. Yeah. They never lead to anything good.
Cringy. I liked how they did the whole thing with the morning after pill, sort of,
another awkward journey.
Yeah, continuing the stuff with the abortion from last season, right? And their sort of interactions, and I think they did a really good job of, like, humanizing Ruby while still keeping Ruby, and they had such weird chemistry. I'm like, I am interested in seeing more of that potentially, seeing where they go with it.
And it humanizes, like, even the mean girl.
Yeah.
Has her own shit going on. And you can't forget that just because someone seems two-dimensional they have a life. Like, they have their own motivations and things too.
Yeah. I just remembered that we were going to skip Amy. We can't skip Amy.
We were going to skip Amy?
Yeah, because we were going to go right to Maeve and Otis.
How could we?
Yeah, so Amy...
Oh my God. Amy is my little nugget, and I love her, and I need to protect her from this awful world.
I know. They did such a good job with this storyline, and really, like, I don't feel like I've seen this before. It was really well done how it affected her, and I think it was great to see a storyline like this that she didn't get, like, you know, attacked, right? And it's like, usually you'd see that, and I feel like the fact that this is what happened to her and it had that much of an effect on her is great for so many audiences to see, that it doesn't have to just be like, oh, I'm in a dark alley and I get attacked.
That being, like, physically held down isn't the only, like, valid trauma of a sexual assault.
Yeah.
Like, there is validity in this and truth in this, and the trauma of this is, for many people, incredibly relatable. And that they just the show continued to build on that. Go through it over and over and over and just build out from what happened to her. It was like nothing I've ever seen before. This is what made me cry, for the record.
And so many shows have tried to do, like, the Me Too thing since that all
came
up.
to head.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's almost always like, oh, I'm an actress, blah, blah, blah. And it's, like, very on the nose.
I had a casting couch scenario.
Yeah, it's very on the nose about, Harvey and all that stuff. But this is the real Me Too story, where it's like, everybody, every woman has these kinds of stories.
And so many people do.
And that's the thing is, I mean, I do think there is a balance of, on the one hand, it's great that they had this, like, female empowerment and everybody bonding together. You do end up losing it on, like, it would have been kind of interesting to see some men say Me Too, like, we've also experienced this kinds of things. I think that would have been cool, but you lose that and you gain the really great female bonding.
I mean, on top of that, it's like, what they're forced to do, the people in the room are already at odds with each other.
Yeah.
You have Ola and Maeve, who are fighting over Otis, who throughout the season had that tension and were basically threatening each other in varying ways. And the fact that even they can come together and be like, we don't have to be best friends, but we're friends and we can help her.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
And also Olivia, like, who's like with Ruby being a mean girl.
Everybody sort of coming together in that episode. There were so many fuck yeah moments, right? Because it was just fun to watch them in the detention. It was fun, not fun, I don't know if the right words I'm looking for. It was cool to see them come to the realization in detention. Then it was cool to see them smash it together. And then the amazing thing of them all going to the bus together was just like
helping Amy, and they got on the bus and helped her. And it doesn't. And another factor is, I like that after that they don't just drop it and that Amy's like all better now. Like. No, she's working through it.
Yeah.
Steve is supporting her. Yeah. He's not pushing her. He just wants to be there for her however he can.
Yeah.
But, like, they were all just
well, also the writing decision to have the bus be a tangible thing that shows you how she's being affected on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Was so ingenious. And I mean, I guess it doesn't take that much to think of because it actually happens on buses a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is such a great writing device to have it have a real tangible effect on a daily basis of how she can't handle her normal life anymore.
Yeah.
I think that was beautiful, and it led to the beautiful moment of everybody coming together. Really awesome.
Yeah, it's just like, I felt angry, I felt joyful, I felt sad, and I felt hopeful, and like, holy shit. Just, Amy needs to learn how to bake and be happy.
Or find something else.
That too.
All right, so, Maeve. Let's knock out Maeve's her own storyline before we go into Maeve and Otis. Her stuff with her mom, I thought was very well done.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have seen the ending coming, but I didn't. Like, I saw it coming that, like, the mom was going to disappoint her, or she was going to be fucked or whatever. But the fact that she had to call child services on her mom, like, that she directly had to do something that intense, that is way more intense than her mom just screwing up or running away again, right?
Yeah.
Very well done.
God, it's just, like, such a lose-lose situation for her.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm glad that they just brought her back into school really fast and like gave her a reason to be around people.
Yeah.
Though, and put her with the quiz heads.
Oh yeah,
and
the
like
quiz
gave
head
her
thing is amazing too.
Gave her reason to also know Viv. Like again, it was just like nice rounding out of characters and their relationships with each other.
Yep.
Like you have in school.
Yeah. Yeah, and I liked the fact that like people were being dicks to her, like kicking her out of quiz heads, but at the same time, she wasn't totally in the right because she wasn't playing as a team.
And everyone changes and grows to accept each other.
That was also great.
And her relationship with Miss Sands was really great. Like, again, her mom is a disappointment to her, but Miss Sands isn't like letting her off the hook for her shit either. Like, God,
so many great things.
So interesting.
Yeah. Now, Isaac is interesting as a love triangle third, right? I think I am fascinated by the ballsiness of creating the character of Isaac. And the reason I say that is because like obviously the majority of your audience is going to want Otis and Maeve to get together, right? Yeah. That's what you're creating the show in that direction on purpose. You ended both seasons with a finale of they're not together. Yeah. And so whoever you introduce is just like an obstacle to a certain degree, right? And
especially specifically after she admits she loves him.
Yeah.
He doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah.
She pulls away. Yeah. He admits he loves her. And then this guy literally gets in the way. Like to have him literally delete Otis's voicemail.
Yeah.
Professing his love and his support.
Yeah.
For Maeve. Like that's the thing. Also the way that Otis admits he loves Maeve isn't like all about him. It's like I'm like proud of you. Yeah. You're incredible. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I love you. Yeah. Like he's trying to make amends too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the reason I'm saying that Isaac is ballsy is because he is kind of objectively more of an underdog than Otis.
Yeah.
And that's not usually what you make out of your obstacle character.
Right.
Right? Like the fact that you're making the character that everyone's going to be kind of annoyed exists, your disabled character.
You're disabled orphan, son of also another like drug addict.
Like who on paper, if this wasn't a TV show and who I'd been following Otis, it's like he kind of does deserve Maeve more, right?
Right.
He's had a harder life. They have more in common.
They do.
They
get each other's humor. He's not intimidated by her.
Yeah. So that's a weird, and so they had to make him do something that shitty as deleting the message, right? And you still understand where he's coming from to a certain degree, but like, it's a weird, like, I was like more annoyed the more that relationship between Maeve and him were building, because I'm like, but I want her with Otis. Why are you making me root against this kid?
Who's like also, like, overall is charming. Yeah. Like, I do enjoy his character and him, like, even though it's frustrating, like, Maeve probably wouldn't have had to report her mom to social services if not for the fact that he snitched on her.
He was a lot like Raheem, I feel like, where it's like he's not a bad guy, but he like has some problems of his own that are affecting those people around him, right?
Yeah.
He has some very specific feelings of cynicism and
I would argue arrogance as well. Like they're both arrogant characters, but which teenager isn't arrogant? Even when you're like self-esteem is low, a lot of the time you're still arrogant.
Yeah. So I don't know. My biggest issue is that I just feel like we needed that Maeve and Otis's relationship is so core to the show and that we didn't get enough of it for my liking, and leaving it on basically the same cliffhanger two seasons in a row.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like it feels like it should be beneath this show. This show is not just a tropey high school show. It is a legitimately very well done show.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I saw the ending coming and was able to tell you what the ending was going to be before it happened is just not great. Like,
for all the other great things that we don't see coming.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, it doesn't leave me excited for next season. It makes me annoyed that we're going to have to continue with these stupid roadblocks that seem unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because I'm also like, so then what's the fallout of this? He's like, oh, Maeve didn't respond to me. She must not have liked it. And then he just doesn't bring it up to her ever, which would be also an annoying choice. And then if he does bring it up, she'll be like, what? And then it should immediately solve the problem. So it's like we're creating this big problem that shouldn't be a problem.
That's the thing. Like, it can be solved with like, so what did you think of my voicemail? Yeah. What voicemail? Oh, I guess you want to pretend like it didn't happen. No, I really don't know. What voicemail? Well, when you were on the show. No, I didn't get a voicemail. Like, that's it. That's the conversation. I love you. I love you too. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I did. It was on a voicemail. Like, the problem is that Otis is like so non-confrontational and like so awkward and so not confident.
Yeah.
That he's just like, I'm very worried about him just like, oh no, she didn't talk to me. I guess I'll never bring it up again.
Yeah. Well, the other
I don't do a good British
fantastic.
accent.
Perfect Otis. Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the fact that, like, literally as soon as the first episode I saw him wheeling into the trailer, I was like, well, I guess that's how this season's gonna end.
Jesus.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, I was like, and then even when he was a dick, I was like,
well, she's gonna like this.
I was like, and I mean, honestly, the biggest surprise is just that they haven't even kissed yet or anything.
Yeah.
But, like,
slow burn.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
yeah, it's a choice.
At least Adam and Eric are together
for now.
Yeah.
All right.
And with
that, our main character that is the cause. Was he the main character?
This is obviously the main character.
Yeah.
It's just I was talking to you about how this is like almost an Orange is the New Blackification season, where it's like he's still clearly the main character, but like they're really building out the world.
Otis is the piper.
Yeah. Otis is the piper. Yeah. So how many flaming skulls would you give this show?
What?
You don't remember?
We used to
rate
do that.
Things on flaming
I used
skulls.
to be a devil.
Long-time viewers will maybe understand.
Like 15 people watch those videos.
15 people. I'm going to bring back the flaming skulls for our Sabrina videos, which are coming soon because we're going to talk about Chilling Adventures of Sabrina all week long next week.
Woo,
so
woo.
Check out that shit, and I hope you're doing okay.
Bye. I didn't realize you were rapping.
Who knows? Who knows?